Welcome to my channel. My name is Ping Li. I will state the motivation of my design and demonstrate the primary advantage of this novel design in this footage. I will introduce myself and then focus on the 5 major problems of contemporary disposable healthcare respirator. And later, I will state how to solve these problems. I am a clinical pharmacist working for Shanghai Xinhua Hospital, affiliated to Shanghai Jiao Tong University, a member of China Association for Promoting Democracy. As a visitor scholar, I visited University of Illinois at Chicago UIC Hospital in 2015. I was invited to attend China Health Promotion Tour project as an expert of China Song Qinling Foundation in 2023. During the COVID-19 pandemic period, I'm the first branch of experts to make quick response to the crisis. At the very beginning of the pandemic, high-level disinfectant sanitation, personal protective equipment (PPE) such as masks, respirators are the only weapons to fight against the pandemic before vaccines and medicines are invented. On February 2020, my paper, The Occupational Exposure Risk and Protection Countermeasures of High-Reactive Disinfectants in Epidemic Prevention of COVID-19 was published. Then I forwarded this paper to the mentor in UIC hospitals by email, transmitting an early warning signal to my friends overseas. Tragically, the pandemic outbreaks globally, including USA. The first problem of healthcare respirator is the pressure source risk, as is showed in the state-run media report. N95 respirator creates a sealed perimeter to avoid inhaling contaminated particles. However, wearing respirator for a long period may cause pressure sores on the face of the medical employees. As a common scene, the skin contact pressure below 16 millimeters mercury, about 2.1 kilopascal, is the safe limit to avoid pressure sores. Skin contact above this threshold will cut off the blood flow of capillaries, which will lead to tissue damage due to insufficient oxygen and microcirculation. A commercial design also shows the most comfortable skin contact pressure for socks to avoid venous thrombosis embolism (VTE) is about 16 millimeters mercury. That means 2.1 kilopascal. The second problem of healthcare respirator is the risk of speech intelligibility and slip-off. The original inventor of disposable N95 respirator is Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing Company, the 3M Company. It is designed for the miners, welding workers, and other industry workers to protect respiratory tract from dust. However, the design is less competent for the medical facility scenarios. Why? Because we must speak a lot to our patients and colleagues. Vocal communication is absolutely necessary in the outpatient clinic. So I must say a lot in the antithrombosis clinic when a patient steps in. So I have to adjust the respirator again and again when it tends to slip off. Let me wear a mask or a respirator, then read the following dialogue loud and clear, and let's watch how it performs. This is the demonstration. I will try to wear a surgical mask and read the conversations. This is the surgical mask. Fit check over. Mr. Anderson, how do you feel today? Much better. Well, we have reviewed your 24-hour heart report and your ECG monitor data, which shows you are suffering from atrial fibrillation. In short, also called no. Look, my nose exposed. The surgical mask cannot protect me anymore. Let's try to do some modification. Like this one. Yeah, that's the frame support. I will try to put the frame support there. Where are the surgical mask again? An improvement? I'll try. No. Yeah. Mr. Anderson, how do you feel today? Much better. Well, we have reviewed your 24-hour heart report and your ECG monitor data, which shows you are suffering from atrial fibrillation. In short, also coined as AFib. It is an abnormal heart rhythm, a kind of no, totally exposed. The ceiling margin is bad. This frame is useless. Any other kind of frame? Yeah. How about this one? The cross-shaped frame. Try it again. Mr. Anderson, how do you feel today? Much better. Well, we have reviewed your 24-hour heart report and your AC. No. The nose exposed again. Helpless. Frame doesn't work. Maybe the surgical mask is not a good example. I will choose N95 domestic. The brand name is called Winner. Yeah, Winner. N95 medical respirator. Looks good. Read the conversation again. Mr. Anderson, how do you feel today? Much better. Well, we have reviewed your 24-hour heart report and your ECG monitor data, which shows you are suffering from atrial fibrillation. In short, also coined as AFib. It is an abnormal heart rhythm, a kind of arrhythmia characterized by rapid and I will see my notes exposed again. Failed. The seating is failed. Let's see. Install the support frame across shape. Try it again. Mr. Anderson, how do you feel today? Much better. Well, we have reviewed your 24-hour heart report and no, it's worse. The support frame doesn't help the animals. Yeah, a big support frame. No. Seating pro don't work. Just read. Miss Anderson, how do you feel today? Much better. Well, we have reviewed your 20. No, it's the leak. This sounds bad. 24-hour heart report and your ECG monitor data, which shows you are suffering from atrial fibrillation. In short, also coined as AFib. It is an abnormal heart rhythm, a kind of arrhythmia characterized by rapid and irregular beating of atrial chambers of the heart. This heart disease makes you feel flustered and weak. What does that mean? Let's look at my notes exposed again. It doesn't work. How about the 3M 9132? That's very good. For healthcare. Aluminum strip. I'm stable. Take my glass. Glass again. Well, it fits quite well. Let's read the conversation again. Mr. Anderson, how do you feel today? Much better. Well, We have reviewed your 24-hour heart report and your ECG monitor data, which shows you are suffering from atrial fibrillation. In short, also coined as AFib. It is an abnormal heart rhythm, a kind of arrhythmia characterized by rapid and irregular beating of the atrial chambers of the heart. This heart disease makes you feel flustered and weak. What does that mean? It means a part of your heart does not work properly. Your heart is partly stored, and furthermore, some blood in the stored atrial chamber will become still and coagulate into a clot. If the clot falls from the atrial... Look, my nose exposed. Let's explain what medical staff got infected in the Fangchang quarantine hospital. If they speak too much to our patients, they're facing the risk of the mask may slip off and gradually the sealing margin is failed and inhaled the coronavirus particulates. Let's try another one. Next is 3M8246. It's an R95 respirator designed for filter particulates and acid gas. The basic shape is the same to the 3M 1860 medical respirator. That's very tight. Still for industry workers. Sounds good. No. I must suggest okay. To confirm my eyeglasses. It's problem. No, it's like too big for me. No, okay. No leak. Mr. Anderson, how do you feel today? Much better. Well, we have reviewed your 24-hour heart report and your ECG monitor data, which shows you are suffering from atrial fibrillation. In short, also coined as AFib. It has an... My nose is again. Another one. Where? In the contrast file document, a Xiaomi invented a 95 respirator with a support frame inside, but I have not found the commercialized products yet. So I find an item very close to the structures that Xiaomi characterized. The structure is based on a filter film and a an integrated frame. The support frame is a plastic. It's a little hard. Yeah, not embedded support frame inside the built material. Detachable? Yeah. Looks like detachable. It's detachable. Look. It can be separated and installed. Okay, good. Let's try how this design works. No, the hook should be, yeah, oh, I know how to wear this. Reconstruction. Two ways to wear. Put the mask on ear or put the mask on head. Both. I will try. First, I'll try wear the mask on ear. That's true. This is upside and this is downside. Not very tight. Just the fit is looks like okay, but I don't feel it's the belt very tight, little loose. That's fact. Yeah. No obvious liquid. That's fact. To read the dialogue again. Mr. Anderson, how do you feel today? Much better. Well, we have reviewed your 24-hour heart report and your ECG monitor data, which shows you are suffering from. No, I cannot read anymore. Look, the mask did not slip off. It slipped up. My eyeglasses. No. The position of my eyeglasses is moved up, so I lost focus. It sounds. It will not slip off, but slip off. It means this design of the mask is incompatible with the wearer who must wear a goggle or wear a glass. I will try to read the conversation and see what will happen. What does that mean? It means a part of your heart does not work properly. Your heart is partly stalled. No. And furthermore, some blood in the start atrial chamber will become still and coagulate into a clot. If the clot falls from the atrial chamber, it will move through the big arterial vessel and finally block your small brain arterial. Let's see. The respirate gradually rise and forced my eyeglasses to rise, and finally I'm short eyesight cannot read anymore. A terrible design. I'm trying to find another way. The label shows it can well, head shape. Let's try. My glasses in the correct position. I can read the paper. The belt is tight enough. Yeah, I feel this time I feel better. Mr. Anderson, how do you feel today? Much better. Well, we have reviewed your 24-hour heart report and your ECG monitor data, which shows you are suffering from atrial fibrillation, in short, also coined as AFib. It is an abnormal heart rhythm, a kind of arrhythmia characterized by rapid and irregular beating of the atrial chambers of the heart. This heart disease makes you feel flustered and weak. What does that mean? It means a part of your heart does not work properly. Your heart is partly stalled, and furthermore, some blood in the stalled atrial chamber will become still and coagulate into a clot. If the clot look the respirator rise and my eyeglass also rise. We forced to rise, so it's difficult for me to read anymore. I'll try another way. How about wear the respirator lower to cover the whole mandible? Yeah. Lower it. Let's go. Another try. Mr. Anderson, how do you feel today? Much better. Well, we have reviewed your Oh, no. If I wear the respirator in the center position, it will move up and force the eye glasses of Google to shift from their normal position. It's fading. If I wear the mask lower to cover the lower side of the mandible, at the switch, it will go down. No. Sorry. These contemporary disposable respirator do not work. How about another try? This one. I am a cyclist. I love riding bicycle, so I'm team member of the Fudan University bicycle team. Yeah. This is the respirator I bought before the COVID-19 pandemic because the air quality in Shanghai is not good. The PM 2.5 always rise too much in the winter and autumn. So I must wear a respirator to protect myself. That's what? The filter. That's what? A rubber-based respirator. Assemble it. I'll stand alone, huh? Yeah. The exhale is the nonsense. That's fine. Mr. Anderson, how do you feel today? Much better. Well, we have reviewed your 24-hour heart report and your ECG monitor data, which shows you are suffering from atrial fibrillation. In short, also called as AFib. It is an abnormal heart rhythm, a kind of arrhythmia characterized by rapid and irregular beating of the atrial chamber of the heart. This heart disease makes you feel flustered and weak. What does that mean? It means a part of your heart does not work properly. Your heart is partly stored, and furthermore, some blood in the stored atrial chamber will become still and coagulated into a clot. If the clot falls from the atrial chamber, it will move through the big arterial vessel and finally block your small brain artery. That means you are facing a major risk of cerebral arterial thrombosis. In short, that is the stroke. Well, sounds horrible. What is the cure? Don't worry, Mr. Anderson. We will administrate natriuretic calcium injection, a kind of low molecular weight heparin as anticoagulation agent. In short, that is a blood thinner to prevent the blood from clotting. 3 days later, we will administrate amiodarone injection and pills simultaneously to correct arrhythmia to make just look at my eyeglass more up again. Blood thinner to prevent blood from amiodarone injection and pills simultaneously to correct arrhythmia to make your heartbeat normally. That's fine. It is a curable disease. Of course, you could take no anticoagulation medicine called rivaroxaban rather than traditional warfarin of discharge as an alternative. No, I can't read anymore. It strict the movement of my manual, and I feel very tired. No, it's comfortable. Too tight.
cannot hold. I'm not quite uncomfortable. Uh, uh, Even a rubber respirator is not designed for a medical conversation between the patients and doctors. So sorry. Okay, let's end this short footage.
As a pharmacist in charge of logistics service in Fangchang Quarantine Hospital, I feel guilty and helpless when facing my team members got infected in the working area. That's not their mistakes. These doctors and nurses are trained quite a lot even after their duty. It is the problem of PPE. The healthcare respirators were procured by my hand, but the products failed to protect my colleagues enough. That's why I feel guilty. It is the guilty, the feeling of the sin, motivated me to tackle the intrinsic defect. The third problem is that it is incompatible with the man with even light beard. A male person does have the right to keep some beard. That is the fundamental biological distinguish called secondary sexual characteristics. However, the beard could break the sealing perimeter of N95 respirator, so CDC published a sketch map. As the map shows, even the light beard, like a circle-style beard, is still incompatible with the respirator. As a local resident living in Shanghai, I find that most men choose a clean-shaved face. The Google Air search indicated that Chinese men have the lowest rate of keeping beards globally. That sounds good. The beards won't be a problem in Shanghai. However, as I visited Chicago, I saw more men choose to keep their beards. Google Air search shows a 2023 study found that approximately 55% of men had some form of beard, and 45 are clean-shaved in USA. That means almost half of the male people in USA are less protected by the N95 tight-fitted respirator when facing the threat of COVID-19 or other airborne infection diseases. Let me show the demonstrations. In this section, I will show how beard interference the sealing margin of the respirator. This is a model. I passed a circle style beard. I will show this one. The KN95 respirator, detachable structure, including a frame and the filter layer.
it seems the respirator is weared properly, but as you can see, the lower mandible part is not sitting well. The margin is interfered by the beard. It may cause leakage. Last time I showed this rubber respirator perform better. But if an industrial worker wear rubber-based respirator, look at the lower side. Can still see the beard. It may cause leakage. So that's why CDC published the sketch map to indicate that some kind of beard is not compatible with the tight-fitted respirator.
The fourth problem during the COVID-19 pandemic is whether the patient or staff could step into a magnetic resonance imaging MRI room with an N95 respirator on face. The MRI equipment consists of a strong magnetic field up to 1.5 Tesla, 3.0 Tesla, and even 5.0 Tesla in my hospital. So I inquired the director of MRI department, and his answer is absolutely no. A safety tip on the wall shows any item within metal is strictly prohibited to the MRI room. I pick up a magnetic to check the 3M9132 respirator. It shows the respirator contains an aluminum strip on the nose and iron staples on the edge, which is contradicted to the safety rule of MRI room. I checked another surgical mask. The result also shows it contained an iron strand near the nose part. The FDA also published an official warning about the incompatible issue. I inquired the alternative option, such as a rubber-based respirator. The answer is also negative. Too clumsy. The exhale valve makes it useless to prevent spreading COVID-19 pathogen. Our staffs have no way to stop the airborne pathogen spreading in this air room, as the director says. That's the breach point of the in-hospital infection. The fifth problem is whether the healthcare mask designed as disposable or reusable. The project Breeze, published in 2009, indicates that during a crisis in which respirators may be in short supply. I'm sorry, the pessimistic prediction in 2009 did come true in 2020. The whole world is short of a N95 respirator. Let's look at the structure of the kernel filter film of N95 respirator. The electrostatic melt-blown fabric shows a loose network structure. It cannot filter particles diameter range from 0.1 to 0.3 micrometers by physical interception. It must be filtered by electrostatic adherence. The advantage is it shows low airflow resistance due to its large voids. The disadvantage is that the static charge decays with the time elapsed and the temperature and humidity. Particulated matter embedded in the void make it difficult to be blown back or decontaminated for reuse. Research shows discarding these disposable masks randomly may lead to microplastic pollution to our planet of Earth during COVID-19 pandemic. Environment protection ideology is quite popular in some countries. As the screenshot of DW, Voice of German, some people may prefer to reduce the use of plastics. A confusion seen is that this guy is trying to find microplastic beads via an app coined Beats the Microbead when wearing a disposable mask. Actually, the inner layer of a standard disposable mask is made by polyester fiber. It is a kind of plastic fiber, so microplastic beads may drop off from the inner layer, then be inhaled into the lung due to the friction when they are performing the interview. My colleague, an endocrine physician, reminds me to take off the mask when doing physical exercise outdoor. Wearing or taking off the mask is a balance of beneficial and risk. How to fix these problems? I reviewed some guidelines, including Apollo Biodefense Program and Project Breathe, which aim to build a B95 standard respirator for healthcare employees. As is shown in the pictures, I designed a brand new geometry frame. Basically, it is an internal isosceles trapezoid plastic frame and elastic sealing margin by sewing technique. It could fit the curve of face very well, just like an underwear. The parameter of the frame margin could adjust to fit variety local residents, whatever sex, age, or race, without designing an expensive 3D mold. The skin contact pressure of this design is measured by CO2 cylinder, point pressure meter, and gas flow meter. The accuracy of the point pressure meter is verified by an old-fashioned mercury blood pressure meter. Crop some fresh film. Fold the film to a strip. Seal the margin with a heat press sealing machine. Trim the useless part of the fresh film. Finally, make a simple flat straw pipe. Insert the flat straw pipe into the gap between the mask and the head-shaped model. Then open the relief valve of CO2 cylinder slightly. The pressure meter reading gradually increases while gas flow meter still remains zero initially. Finally, the gas flow meter reading jumped to about 30 cc per minute, which means the breach point. The carbon dioxide inside the pipe is inflated high enough to overcome the skin contact pressure to exhausting. The pressure meter reading at this moment is the skin contact pressure. I measured many contact points and recorded numbers of reading on these photos. These are the readings I showed in the patent application paper. The average skin contact pressure is about 1 kilopascal on the upside and lower side of the respirator. The left side and right side is about 0.4 kilopascal. All these numbers are significantly lower than the safety threshold of 16 millimeters mercury, the 2.1 kilopascal. The minimum skin contact pressure is only 0.1 kilopascal, which means the axial resistance is lower down to 100 pascal. The elastic sewing sealing edge could perform just like two axial valves. This instruction sketch shows how to wear this novel design respirator properly. I built these prototypes by myself. I bought a sewing machine online on March 1st, 2021. The red warning label means the seller is unable to offer on-call service to assemble the sewing machine. So I had to assemble the machine by myself. The picture shows how do I assemble this sewing machine and how to use the sewing machine to build my novel design. These pictures show the principal tools and ways to produce isolysis trapezoid frame and crop filter materials. The frame and material are shaped by basic sewing technique, then mounted a nose bridge to formation without any metal parts. In order to protect the wearer, the inner layer is made of grade A high-quality pure cotton knitted fabric to reduce the microplastics beads drop-off. The picture shows I've made 20 prototype respirator as each batch, ready for delivery to Shanghai Institution of Work Safety for exam that is compliant to National Standard of People's Republic of China, GB 2626-2019, KN95. This report shows the result of filter efficiency. 4 samples are tested. The minimum filter efficiency is 95.3%, qualified. This report shows the result of resistance. As I measured, the minimum skin contact pressure is 0.1 kilopascal. The laboratory exam result also shows the axial resistance is 93 pascal, very close to the minimum skin contact pressure. That means the elastic sewing sealing margin do perform as axial valves, significantly lower the respiratory resistance. This report shows the result of dead space. The result shows the carbon dioxide concentration in the dead space is 0.7%. Qualified. This report shows the result of total inward leakage. 10 samples are tested. 10 persons wear my novel respirator and performing the regulated actions. The result is qualified. I will show how to fix the problem of speech intelligibility and slip-off risk by reading the following conversations loud and clear. This is the demonstration.
In this section, I will show how my design works in the simulated medical conversation between a patient and doctor. This is a bag of the respirator. Like I will pick up one. The inner layer, the outer layer, elastic earband, and as I mentioned, it's an elastic sewing sealing margin. So you can see it's elastic. It's made by sewing tack, so you can at the wrinkle you can see it's made by the sewing technique, so it's deformable. It's not a fixed wrinkle. You can pull and then release, pull and then release. While in additional, the surgical mask, you can see the edge, the wrinkle, is by heat pressed, melted, fixed. So if I pull it, it will not extend. That's the big difference. With the edge, look, I pull, it will change. It's extensible. It's elastic. During the fit test, what we'll feel is if I exhale very hard, I can feel the airflow from the left side and right side. The elastic sewing sealing margin works like an exhale valve. If I simulate a cough, you can see the airflow. I'll demonstrate this one. No, no. And better item. No, this one. This one. A small piece of tissue paper. Right. Stick on the edge. Let's see what I will simulate the cough. See the airflow. So you can feel the axial resistance is significantly lower than inhale resistance, as the test showed in the laboratory results. Yeah. If I inhale and exhale smoothly, there's no leakage. Not bad. Oh, check again. This way. Mr. Anderson, how do you feel today? Much better. Well, we have reviewed your 24-hour heart report and your ECG monitor data, which shows you are suffering from atrial fibrillation, in short, also coined as AFib. It is an abnormal heart rhythm, a kind of arrhythmia characterized by rapid and irregular beating of the atrial chambers of the heart. This heart disease makes you feel flustered and weak. What does that mean? It means a part of your heart does not work properly. Your heart is partly stored, and furthermore, some blood in the stored atrial chamber will become still and coagulate into a clot. If the clot falls from the atrial chamber, it will move through the big arterial vessel and finally block your small brain artery. That means you are facing a major risk of cerebral arterial thrombosis. In short, that is the stroke. Whoa! Sounds horrible. What is the cure? Don't worry, Mr. Anderson. We'll administrate nadoxaparine calcium injection, a kind of low molecular weight heparin as anticoagulation agent. In short, that is the blood thinner to prevent blood from clotting. 3 days later, we will administrate amiodarone injection and pills simultaneously to correct the arrhythmia, to make your heart beat normally. That's fine. It's a curable disease. Yes, of course. You could take novel oral anticoagulation medicine called rivaroxaban rather than traditional warfarin after discharge or alternative. Oh, I'd like to remind you to eat some orange or banana to maintain your blood potassium level stable when taking amiodarone as anti-arrhythmia agent. Thank you so much. No bother. That is my duty. You can see, even after reading the conversation, my invention still holds the original position. It will not move down to cause a slip-off risk. It will not ascend. It will not ascend to force the Google or the glass to leave their original position. So during my test, the elastic sewing sealing margin perfectly fits the movement of the speaker's face, the muscle, the mandible movement. Even I open mouth to max it. Let's see. Ow. The curve is stretched to a straight line. If I close mouth, it's curved. If I open mouth to maximum, it's a line. That's the major advantage of the geometry node design. That's it. In this section, I will read the simulation dialogue without wearing a mask. Mr. Anderson, how do you feel today? Much better. Well, we have reviewed your 24-hour heart report and your ECG monitor data, which shows you are suffering from atrial fibrillation. In short, also coined as AFib. It is an abnormal heart rhythm, a kind of arrhythmia characterized by rapid and irregular beating of the atrial chambers of the heart. This heart disease makes you feel flustered and weak. What does that mean? It means a part of your heart does not work properly. Your heart is partly stored, and furthermore, some blood in the stored atrial chamber will become still and coagulated into a clot. If the clot falls from the atrial chamber, it will move through the big arterial vessel and finally block your small brain artery. That means you're facing a major risk of cerebral arterial thrombosis. In short, that is the stroke. Whoa, sounds horrible. What is the cure? Don't worry, Mr. Anderson. We will administrate nasoprene calcium injection, a kind of low molecular weight heparin as anticoagulation agent. In short, that is the blood thinner to prevent the blood from clotting. 3 days later, we will administrate amiodarone injection and pills simultaneously to correct the arrhythmia, to make your heart beat normally. That's fine. It is a curable disease. Yes, of course. You could take novel oral anticoagulation medicine called rivaroxaban rather than traditional warfarin after discharge as alternative. Oh, I'd like to remind you to eat some orange or banana to maintain your blood potassium level stable when taking amiodarone as anti-arrhythmia agent. Thank you so much. No bother. That is my duty.
I will say my novel design of the elastic sewing sealing margin could provide more protection for light-beard male person, including circle, imperial, and the Van Dyke style. This is the demonstration.
In this section, I will demonstrate how to fix the compatibility problem with beard. This is the model. Mr. Anderson, you have some beard, a circle style. Good. Let's try it. That's my design. Good. Perfectly fit. Lower part, and you can see, well, fit well. And most important is the lower part. The sealing margin, elastic sewing sealing margin, completely cover the lower part of mandible. So the beard is concealed in the inner side of the respirator. It will not run across the margin. So this is my novel geometry design. If I open the sealing margin slightly, you will see here is the beard and covered. Okay, here is the beard and my sealing margin. Yeah, perfect. The light beard will not run across the sealing margin. So this is the big advantage of my novel design.
As the compatibility of MRI room, the answer is quite clear. No metal parts fully compatible. There is a conversation between a staff of Shanghai Institute of Work Safety and me. Hey, Ping, I received your prototype mask. I'd like to remind you that do you forget to paste an aluminum strip on the up edge. Most all disposable N95 respirator use an aluminum strip to fit the nose curve to reduce total inward leakage. My answer is, thanks for your friendly reminding. I designed a novel geometry frame. Add an internal plastic deformable rod 30 to maintain the downforce to the nose bridge to maintain the sealing margin. I'd like to see how it works. If it succeeds, I will patent this novel design. The staff says, confirm. We will run the test as routine. This new design chooses expanded polytetrafluorine ethylene, the EPTFE film, as major material. The material is applied in many outdoor sports clothes, widely known as Gore-Tex material. It is reusable. The research article also showed its high-dense structure used physical interception to filter particles with diameter of 0.1 to 0.3 micrometers. It does not require electrostatic effect. Thus, it could be regenerated by reverse air blow to clean the particulates accumulated on the surface. The left figure shows the result of traditional low-density filter film reuse test. The initial resistance is almost zero, but as the particulates accumulated within the film gradually, the filter efficiency and the resistance is increasing gradually after regeneration. On the contrast, the right figure shows the result of ePTFE high-density filter film reuse test. The initial resistance is much higher, but the filter efficiency and the resistance remain steady after regeneration. At first, I used one-layer ePTFE film. The filter efficiency test failed, so I used double ePTFE film, then get the qualified result. The ePTFE film supplier warned me that double-layer filter film may lead to resistance over the limit as it received some complaint of shorter breath when wearing ePTFE film-based mask. But I tackled the issue with this novel geometry design. I cut a N95 medical respirator and restore it into the original plane geometry as contrast. As it showed, filter material utilization is approximately 72%, while my new design shows the filter material utilization is about 95%. Even after sewing, the effective filter area of ePTFE film is 154 square centimeters. On contrast, the effective filter area of contemporary electrostatic melt-blown fabric filter adapted to the STAG Plus rubber respirator is only 75 square centimeters. My novel geometry design doubled the effective filter area. The criterion of breathing resistance invoked from GB 2626 2019 KN95 is no more than 210 Pascal. The laboratory exam shows the inhale resistance of my design is only 132 Pascal, which sounds quite a perfect number. But remember, it is based on my novel geometry design. If I just simply crop double layer of ePTFE filter film to adapt this rubber respirator case, as the effective filter area shrink to half, the resistance number will rise to 264 Pascal theoretically, which is failure to meet the criterion of breath resistance. The ePTFE film is just a kind of nanofiber filter film. I have no time to exhaustion all the property of nanofiber filter films. Just invent a new geometry structure, expand the effective filter area is the most direct way to overcome the intrinsic common weakness of nanofiber filter in engineering. The shape of dead space is a chamber defined by the inner layer of respirator and face. The dead space will hold the exhale gas that contains carbon dioxide and be inhaled again. So, a good geometry design is to increase the effective filter area as large as possible and reduce dead space as small as possible simultaneously. That sounds quite a contradiction. My new design creates a dead space under the lower part of mandible. Accomplish this goal from impossible to possible. The elastic sealing margin maintains tight-fitted lower part of mandible no matter people how to open their mouths exaggeratedly. That's the major creativity of this novel design. In conclusion, this new design fixes 4 major problems. The pressure source risk is fixed by elastic sewing sealing margin and fully verified. As the slip-off and light bead incompatibility problem is fixed by novel geometry design. The MI room incompatibility problem is solved by adding an internal plastic deformable rod 30 to maintain the downforce to replace aluminum nose bridge strip. 3 minor problems are also tackled. Choosing ePTFE film, that is exactly Teflon-based film, resistant to chemical disinfectant and UV ozone pasteurization, make the respirator absolutely reusable. The high resistance of ePTFE film is also tackled by doubled effective filter area with novel geometry design. For wearers' health benefit, it is wise to set a pure cotton knitted fabric inner layer. I'm convinced it is the correct way to reduce microplastic beads drop-off. I take 3M 9132, 3M 1860, 3M 8246 respirator as contrast for the demonstration in this presentation. I must say thank you for the 3M company, who provide massive strategic treasure of healthcare respirator to help my country to overcome the toughest days. I hold 17 shares of 3M company to show my respect. I'm also grateful to my family member, colleague, and grateful to all the healthcare providers and scientists that help human civilization to overcome the toughest days during COVID-19 pandemic. As a visitor scholar of UIC, I introduced the Advanced Clinical Pharmacy Service from Chicago to Shanghai and benefit thousands of patients in China. 10 years later, I'd like to introduce my invention to USA to benefit all the healthcare employees around the world. I still remember that scene. Thousands of students gathered in the hall of UIC. Listen to the exciting speech from Bill Nye, the science guy. His famous slogan is, "Change the world." Just as Star Trek, the Captain Picard says, "We help each other. That's why we are here." This footage has come to you from Shanghai, People's Republic of China. This is Ping Li, radio call sign Bravo Hotel 4,
Charlie Alpha Zulu. V173. Live long and prosper. Signing off.